working for you.
No homicides on the Far East Side? Some residents say that's impossible. Tonight, we break down the numbers.
A destructive act caught on camera and a homeowner turns to RTV6 for help. The pattern of behavior that's got residents fed up.
Also at the news at 6, a common problem, dangerous turns due to a blind spot in traffic. How one city is considering making a small change to affect a big difference.
Good evening, I'm Amanda Starantino.
And I'm Rafael Sanchez in for Mark Mullins.
The community is at odds over numbers some say are too good to be true.
This week, the Attorney General's office praised the efforts of police and the 10-Point Coalition as city leaders stood next to the sign reading "No Homicides" on the Far East Side.
Now that caught the attention of Eastsiders who called that data a lie.
RTV6's Cameron Riddle takes us inside this debate.
It's a statistic that some Indianapolis residents aren't buying. A year without a homicide on the city's Far East Side.
We want clarity and we want an apology. These families have been disrespected. I just read off 20 names of individuals that were victims of homicide in the official Far East Side area.
Local activist Shelley Covington was one of the more than a dozen people who lay on the ground in front of the city-county building representing the murder victims they say the city and the 10-Point Coalition are ignoring.
It's a disservice to our community. It's a disservice to the families who has lost a victim on the Far East Side. It's a disservice to my family. We have lost a family member.
If 10-Point wants to claim they've made a difference in the Far East Side, make a difference in the whole area. Because they're picking cherries, and we don't have time to pick cherries when lives are at stake.
At the center of this controversy is what really is the Far East Side. When it comes to 10-Point, it's a very specific area with a boundary that could end when you cross the street.
The area was 38th Street to 42nd Street between Post Road and Midhofer Road. So that has been the area or the boundaries of the 10-Point Patrol since mid-January of 2018.
Harrison says he thought that boundary was made clear, but reiterates his team focuses on saving the lives of males 12 to 24 years old, a goal he says they reached.
That's what we tried to highlight in the press conference, and I was trying to be very clear about what the catch area was when we said that.
That is a portion, a section of the Far East Side. It is not the Far East Side in its totality. It never has been and it never will be.
In Indianapolis, Cameron Riddle, RTV6.
So let's stay on this critical issue. Take a look at this map right now. The red area you see right there is what the city considers the Far East Side. Those blue markers identify homicides. That much smaller green area is the portion patrolled by the 10-Point Coalition. The group was referencing that on Monday, and that small area, they say, saw no homicides.
Well, Storm Team 6 meteorologist Todd Clausen is here for a look at what you need to know about tonight, but you're looking at Monument Circle, where a lot of yogis are heading out to say namaste for monumental yoga, but they might be running away soon with
Well,
that
you know,
rain.
they'll probably get a little wet there on Monument Circle with some showers moving through. The good news is at least Indianapolis and other events to the north probably avoiding the lightning, which is obviously when you would have to find your safe place. So that is the good news. The thunderstorm watch has even been dropped. That is the good news. And you can see this cluster of storms. It ran into more stable air, so it's strengthening where the air is a little more unstable to the south, and that is good news for us. But we'll give you a little bit of a closer look as this rain starts to make its way into portions of the area. We've lost a lot of lightning, a few strikes down near Spencer and Bloomington, and also in the Bedford area. But as we work to our north, it's more about the rain than it is for the lightning. Greencastle to Danville to Brownsburg, some pretty heavy rainfall, and that's what's going to be moving here into downtown Indianapolis over the next, I would say, 15 to 30 minutes or so. So yeah, probably going to get a little wet there on Monument Circle. But as I put this into motion, I put a line here, and notice a lot of the yellows, especially to the north, are shrinking. So that means in northern communities, you probably may get through here without seeing much in the way of any rainfall here this evening. There's the view off to the west, and you could see that rain heading in our direction. We're in the 60s and 70s, so throughout the evening hours, you probably want to have the umbrella handy. But again, the severe threat has diminished. Temperatures will be in the 70s. We'll talk more about your weekend forecast for you coming up in just a few minutes. minutes, Raphael.
You just saw Todd's radar, the Storm Team 6 tracker there, and weather woes continue to grow for farmers struggling with the planting season process. It is wet out there, and new today, Governor Eric Holcomb sat down with agricultural leaders to talk about the unprecedented weather that has affected farming statewide. As of this week, only 84% of Indiana's corn crop and 64% of soybeans have been planted. That's up from the start of June, but both crops are usually 100% planted by this time of year. The governor is working with those leaders on options for assistance for Indiana farmers hit hard by this recent weather situation.
RTV6 is working to help a Southside homeowner who wants to identify the vandals who smashed a car windshield. Now, that act was captured by a surveillance camera, but similar acts are happening in the area and have not been documented with video. RTV6's Derek Thomas has that story.
5 young men are walking in the alley behind the 2100 block of South Delaware. One stops, climbs on the hood of the white car, and jumps on the windshield. It shatters. The camera is mounted on the garage. It is motion activated. The incident happened at 11:45 at night.
He basically just slammed his foot down on the windshield right here.
Minister Russ Smith noticed the vandalism the next day and shared the video on the Neighbors by Ring Crime Watch site. The car is owned by the company his wife works for. She is out of town. 20-year-old James Young lives down the street.
Don't know those people. I don't know why they're doing it. I don't know why they're acting out and smashing people's windshields. It's wrong, and they shouldn't do it.
But we are never so far from God that God's love won't reach out to us.
Smith is a Disciples of Christ minister. He is part of a video ministry that is seen in 220 countries around the world. He wants whoever smashed the windshield to pay for another one.
I'd prefer to have them learn the consequences of their action by having to restore the property that they destroyed. Jail time, in my mind, is not a good thing. Usually what it does is take small criminals and make them into bigger criminals. So I'd much rather see them do something to restore the property.
Smith's next-door neighbor was victimized, too. The windshield of this car was vandalized that same night. It has since been repaired.
This is not just fun. It's not good fun. Somebody has to pay for all this stuff. And, if they want to get some entertainment, there are plenty of other good ways to do it.
Smith has not filed a police report yet. He's waiting for his wife to get back in town. He hopes whoever did it self-reports. And if they are planning on other criminal acts, the camera is watching. Derek Thomas, RTV6.
Thanks, Derek. And Minister Smith says a police report will be filed tomorrow. If you have any info about the young men in that video, you are asked to call police.
And
if you've been hit with a big problem and need help, connect with RTV6. Working for you means we will look into your issue and try to fix it. Send us a message at workingforyou@rtv6.com and we'll see what we can do.
Drivers want changes made at a Hamilton County intersection where they say there's a visibility issue when pulling out onto a busy street.
RTV6's Nicole Griffin is in Carmel tonight showing us the issue and finding out how the city plans to address these safety concerns.
The Arts and Design District in Carmel is a vibrant area.
Homes here, condos here, apartments here, a lot of traffic.
Main Street is lined with restaurants and businesses. It's a place people like Denise Moe spend a lot of their time. She lives just 2 blocks from this intersection at 1st Avenue and East Main Street.
A lot of the street parking creates blind intersections. So if someone's trying to pull into Main Street or through Main Street and someone's parked on the street, it creates a blind intersection and a possibly dangerous situation.
Denise says eliminating the first parking spot in front of Woody's Library in the Hamilton County Visitor Center would help drivers be able to see the traffic coming so they can safely pull out.
Obviously, the businesses want parking, but obviously the pedestrians, bikers, and motorists need a safe intersection.
City Councilor Bruce Kimball says the City Council met with engineering a few weeks ago, and they are now considering removing the parking spots. It's all part of a broader study looking at changes to parking for the Arts District and the Midtown area.
And I'm glad to see that it's on the list, that engineering is studying, and I really hope that it is one that will be eliminated. I hope that strongly.
The visibility issue here at First Avenue and East Main Street is not the only safety concern. Another one that has people talking is the fact that there are no crosswalks here at this location. Well, I reached out to the city of Carmel, and I have learned there are plans in place right now to add crosswalks to make this area safer. Nicole Griffin, RTV6.
Now, Carmel police report there have not been any crashes at that intersection within the last year. A city spokesman says there is no timeline yet on whether the crosswalk will be added.
Still ahead on the news at 6, over 1,000 jobs at one of the biggest events in the state.
From ticket taking to parking, even to education, there's something for everyone. How to get in on a job at the Indiana State Fair. That's next in Hiring Hoosiers.
And while fireworks are fun, you know they carry some risk. But this is one risk you may not have counted on. The warning you need to hear ahead of the 4th.
And as you take a live look from downtown off to the west, you can see the rain slowly approaching downtown Indianapolis. Heavy rain to the south as flooding concerns return to central Indiana. More on that coming up in your Storm Team 6 forecast.
This is RTV6 News at 6, working for you.
Welcome back. A warning tonight as you may be putting some fireworks in your shopping cart here as we get closer to the 4th of July in the coming weeks. The state wants to make sure you are aware that accidental damage caused by fireworks that are banned in your county may not be covered by your insurance. Many insurance policies cover damage from illegal acts. But if your property gets damaged by someone else's fireworks or your fireworks cause damage to someone else's property, just know that your insurance policy may not cover those repairs.
Hiring Hoosiers is all about connecting you to jobs. Let us guide you right to the Indiana State Fairgrounds, where they're highlighting the chance to make some extra money for working a seasonal job. The fair's 17-day run brings people to Indy from all over the state. There was a job fair last week. We showed it to you right here on RTV6 with on-site interviews, but we've learned more than 245 people showed up. But the fair needs 1,000 people to help things run smoothly. So beyond its job fair, it's using other means to find workers, to find you. The fair is reaching out to veterans groups and retirement communities. They're also turning to local high schools and college campuses. And they're also, get this, recruiting people with motorhomes traveling the country by allowing them to camp on the fairgrounds.
It's actually a community of folks who look for opportunities like the Indianapolis 500 and large events that need volunteers and paid employees to pull off the event. And state fairs are a great way for folks to make some money as they travel.
State Fair Management also uses social media and invites applicants to stop by the fair's on-site employment office. They're looking for tractor shuttle drivers as well as people to work the gates, parking, security, and so much more. They also need people in the education department to teach kids about where their food comes from. The Indiana State Fair runs from August the 2nd through the 18th. You can drop by the State Fair Employment Office Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. until 4 p.m. Or you can apply online as well. We posted all of this information. Where? On our website, hiringhoosiers.com.
And Monday in Hiring Hoosiers, the medical device industry is growing, and so is one company making products to help people with heart disease and diabetes. The employees PTS Diagnostics is looking for, and the impact the company is making across the globe, all new at 6 a.m. Todd.
All right, it's been an active afternoon and evening here with some storms moving to central Indiana. That's why it's a Storm Team 6 alert day. The good news is the severe thunderstorm watch and the warning that we had earlier has now been dropped by the National Weather Service. But some of you are still going to get wet here this evening. We'll start you off where some of these storms are still a little strong, and that's down near Bedford and Mitchell with some lightning. Could be some gusty winds here as well. And then as you work your way back off to the west, Bloomfield, you're probably just dealing with some light rain right now. We slide to the north, a few lightning strikes in and around the Bloomington area, but once you get north of Bloomington, it's just some plain old rain that's falling. But some of these rain showers are now starting to make their way into downtown Indianapolis. I just went outside the studio in downtown, and it is raining just lightly, and that'll continue for a little while longer. Then to the north, a lot of this is starting to fade away, so especially in northern locations here throughout the evening hours, you may get a hit or miss sprinkle. I know there's a lot of outdoor events, big sold-out concert up at Ruoff. You may see some some sprinkles there, but I don't think they will delay the show for lightning. That's not going to take place here this evening. To the south, with the heavier downpours, the flash flood watch has been reissued by the National Weather Service. So from Bloomington to Seymour into the Bedford area, be aware of that. But what's been happening is these storms have shifted further to the south or strengthened to the south. Our atmosphere is pretty stable here across central Indiana, so we're seeing the storms in a weakening state. The stronger ones are pushing down to the south, virtually ending our threat of severe weather throughout the evening hours. Although, again, a few rain showers will continue off and on this evening. And one thing we'll have to watch out for is you saw that big cluster of storms moving through I just showed you. Another one could impact the area overnight with potentially some heavy rainfall again in southern locations. So going forward in this forecast, I'm not really too concerned about the severe threat as far as damaging wind or hail. It's really flooding concerns once again in southern locations. Here's the view off to the west, and you can see that rain starting to move in. Temperatures are in the 60s and 70s. So this evening, you probably want to have the rain gear handy for these showers as they move through, as we fall back down into the 60s. And then for the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, there are some storm chances. Temperatures will be in the 80s. The big difference, you'll notice the humidity comes way up on Sunday. We're talking about very humid conditions. So Saturday morning, some showers are around. They move out, turns into a decent first half of the morning. The afternoon just features a few spotty showers, so I don't think you need to cancel your plans at this point on Saturday. Some better storm chances arrive in the forecast as we head into the day on Sunday. Then finally, the middle of next week, we string 3 days together here with partly cloudy skies and temperatures in the mid-80s. And welcome to summer, by the way. It arrived at 11:54 this morning.
So you're going to find a shut-off valve finally next week.
Hopefully. We got rid of the spring showers, and now hopefully we'll get into some nice dry and warm weather for summer.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Todd. Well, Brad's standing by with a look at our sports.
Hey, team, and good evening, everyone. Okay, I'm not sure who in the Pacers marketing department is responsible for this, but it is spectacular. Draft pick Goga Batidze in a Pacers racing fire suit. I need this to happen. On the Art of Bricks at IMS, scoring pylon in the background. Let's get the photo next week. We'll see what we can do. Today, the Pacers welcomed their newest draft pick to the Circle City, and they did it in a very nice way. Get a look at the Cheers for Goga, the employee parade from the parking garage. The Bankers Life Fieldhouse. A nice gesture there from the folks at Pacers Sports and Entertainment. Clearly he's enjoying himself. A whirlwind night and day for the 19-year-old kid from Tbilisi, Georgia. Thought by many to be a lottery-level draft pick. He's played pro ball since he was 16 years old. Goga played in the Serbian League this past season and also was MVP in the Adriatic League.
Definitely I need to get stronger because this league, there's a lot of great athletes, a lot of stronger guys. And well, whatever, how far I can go, we will see. I mean, I will put 100% every day. I will put a lot of work. I did also this year. I think I got a lot stronger, a lot better with my body, and I will do 100% at whatever.
He is all about basketball. His talent level obviously has come out. If you guys had a chance, what he's done in the Euro League is completely impressive.
Goga will likely be on the Pacers' Summer League roster. Those games start July 6th out in Las Vegas. Lawrence Central grad Kyle Guy had to wait until almost the end of the night, but finally got his call. Sacramento drafting Guy 55th overall. That was late in round 2. He was one of 3 University of Virginia players selected last night. The Cavaliers selected Dylan Windler at number 26 overall. He watched the draft with family and teammates down in Nashville. From Perry Meridian High School to Belmont University, Windler had a stellar senior season, regularly putting up 20 points and 10 rebounds per game. A great shooter, great court vision as well. Should be a good addition for the Cavs. Everyone at BU touted him as a great leader as well. Windler soaking it all in last night.
Obviously, you only go through once, and it's just pure joy. And I'm just happy that I was able to spend it with my family, friends, teammates, Coach Bird, all the coaches that I've been with here. This is the way I envisioned it. Come draft night and be able to spend it with the people that I'm closest and I love the most is, it's the best.
Cavs actually double-dipped Nashville in the first round. They took Vanderbilt guard Darius Garland 5th overall. IndyCar is racing on its longest track of the season this weekend. The nearly 4-mile road course at Road America is also one of the prettiest settings on the schedule. We'll take you up to Wisconsin for practice this afternoon. A lot of guys using the whole track and a little more. Scott Dixon locks up the tires. It gets wide. Indy 500 winner Simon Pagenaud finding the dirt as well a couple of times on this lap. It is not uncommon up there. And we'll get a look at Alexander Rossi. Watch him catch a little air on the hill. Got it nearly sideways a couple times, but part of this was the fastest lap of the afternoon session. In fact, the top 10 drivers were all within 1 second of the leader. Defending race winner Joseph Newgarden was third this afternoon. There are a pair of rookies in the top 5, that being Colton Herta and Felix Rosenqvist. Ryan Hunter raced 7th this afternoon. He had the quick time in the early session. They will qualify tomorrow. Dave First is up there covering this weekend's race. He'll have more with Graham Rahal coming up for us tonight on the news at 11. The Fever also in action tonight. They're playing in Chicago. The tip for that one is at 8 o'clock. And we will be back to the desk to wrap up tonight's news at 6 after one final break.
Visit buyhyundai.com today.
All right, some rain's making its way through the area. The good news is, guys, all the severe weather threat has come to an end across central Indiana. With that said, you still may get a little wet. The showers are really weakening from Indianapolis to the north, so that's good news for any plans that are outdoors. To the north, to the south, still some heavier downpours moving through Bloomington. They'll push into Seymour as well. So especially in southern locations, be on the lookout for a little bit of localized flooding. Shouldn't be a widespread problem. And then more scattered storms in the forecast for Saturday. They're pretty spotty, though, tomorrow. A lot of dry hours. 84, very warm, very humid on Sunday, 87 degrees. The storms are a little more numerous. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, though, there finally 3 days in a row without any rain in the forecast, and temperatures that'll be in the mid-80s.
Come on, Tuesday. Come on, you can do it.
And we'll keep tracking this weather throughout our newscast tonight at 7 and 11, and you can track it on the RTV6 app.
Have a good evening and a good weekend.